Hello, this is Randy back in the shop today. I've got a project that I'm working on. I'm going to be building a line boring fixture for the lathe. It's going to consist of two plates that bolt on either side of the saddle that slides back and forth on the lathe with T-slots in them. And I've got to make adjusters so I can adjust the height up and down with a fixture plate on top. I'm not sure how I'm going to do the fixture plate yet, if I'm going to mill T-slots in it or a combination of T-slots and holes. Let's head on over to the lathe and I'll show you my idea. Now what I gotta do is I got 2 spots marked here where I gotta make clearance for a cap over here and a dowel pin over here. Line this out here a little bit. Turn this RPM up here. Make sure that that's centered. That. Okay. All right. Mark that as 0, 0. Take this out of here. I got a slot drill here, just a 2-flute end mill. I'm gonna put in here. All right. And this hole here for the clearance cap has got to be a 1/4 inch deep, and the other one's only got to be about 50 thousandths deep. Slow this back down here. Now we got to come over. I got to line this up again here. Pull this end mill out. There we go. Get this back in. Here. Okay. Lock our table again. Head out, get her end mill back in. Okay. All right. That gives us our clearance for our dowel pin. Okay. Put a little bit of oil on this here. Okay, we got to come down a 1/4 inch. That'll do. Okay. Now I'm going to get this pulled out of here, get it cleaned up a little bit, and I'll explain what I'm doing. This here is the oil fill cap for the apron, and this is that dowel pin that I was talking to you about. So this piece here, and the reason I had to machine this is to clear the bracket for my DRO. So this should fit right over the top of this here. Just like that. Okay. And I had this all apart, and I drilled holes here for 3/8 cap screws. So this piece here is going to get bolted down like that there. And I'm going to machine a T-slot in it. And this plate over here is going to set on top of here like this. And it's going to have I'm going to make adjusters so that you can level it and also raise and lower the height. And what this is going to be for is doing some line boring in the mill for a project I got coming up. And you're going to be able to slide this back and forth. And so now what I got to do is I got to lay out for the 2 holes. I got to drill, and then I'll be back. All right, I got my 2 punch marks for my holes right there. There's another one right here. Now I got to line this up here. Make sure that needle on there is centralized. Like that. Okay, that's my first hole. So what I got to do is I got to drill the 2 holes first, and then flip this over, relocate where the holes are, and then countersink them. Slow this down here a little bit. There we go. Tighten that drill up. There we go. Pull this drill out here and lightly chamfer that edge. All it needs right there. Okay. I should be able to just come over 12 inches, I believe. Right there. Move this camera back a little bit here. Okay. Go. All right. Countersink that hole a little bit here, or chamfer it rather. all it needs right there. So now I'm going to take this out of the vise, flip it over, relocate my hole here, and then I got to move over 8-inch 1/261 to this hole here. All right, I got my counter bore set up here. Don't look like it's straight though. Set my depth on the Z. I got to go 390 thousandths deep. Right there. Pulled the center out of the counter bore. All right, now we're going to countersink the top of that just a little bit. That. Blow the chips out of there. Set our bolt in, and it's just below the surface. I'm going to do the same thing to the other hole, and I'll be back. Well, there's the piece sitting on the cross slide of the lathe, or the apron rather, I should say. I'll show you what I used to mark these holes with. What I used is some 3/8 transfer screws. You take this tool here, you screw these screws down in here. Till this point is just above the surface, good. And you take your piece, you lay it on there, and give it a tap with a hammer, and the point will leave an indentation in the whatever material you're trying to mark, and you know exactly where your hole's got to be. You can see the little point on it right there. Pretty handy tool to have in your toolbox. You don't use them that often, but when you need them, why, they come in handy, kind of like a transfer punch. A transfer punch would work just the opposite. If you had to, say, transfer these holes without having these holes drilled, you could drill your holes and you lay your part on what you're going to fasten it to, and your transfer punch has got the same identical point on it. I've got a 3/8 roughing end mill here. When I get the slot milled, I got to offset 40 thousandths each direction so that the slot will clear this part of the T-nut right here. Otherwise it won't fit. Here we go. Come down another 200. Right there. Come down another 175. Right there. Alright, I'm going to measure the depth here now, just to make sure it's deep enough. out here. All right. Okay, I got to do the exact same thing on this end. I'm not going to film that, and then I'll be back when I got to do the center slot. Show you how I'm going to do that. All right, I got a 2-flute end mill in here. I'm going to touch off on the work, 0 my Z axis, and I'm just going to go straight down 575 thousandths. Make sure I got my table locked here. Looks good. I'm gonna watch this till we just see a chip. There, 0 my Z, and then I'm going to go straight down 575 thousandths. That's a 375 2-flute end mill. $300. 400. 500. 575 right here. Now I'm going to put the roughing end mill in, and I'm going to rough this out. Okay, here we go. Okay, here's what we got so far. All the slots are done, and this offset here had to be big enough so I get my cutter down in there to cut the T at the bottom of the slot, and also fit the T-nut so you can get the T-nut in this inner slot here. There's really not much you can see doing this one, so I'm not going to film that, but I'll film doing this end here, and you can see how that cutter works, and I'll be back. All right, there's the middle T-slot completed. I got a T-nut in there. That fits good. Now I'm going to finish this end, and then I'll bring it back when I do this end here. Hope you guys can see that. Making the last T-slot on this piece here, and then both these pieces will be done. Well, both our T-slot plates are done. The T-slot nut fits good in them, and same thing over here. It slides right in. And the adjusters that I got to make are going to fit over these studs here, and in between these plates and the fixture plate that's going to be on top, and that way you can level it and also raise and lower the height of your work slightly. The next big thing that I got to do is I got to work on the fixture plate that's going to go on the top of this here. I got to get both sides of that milled so it's relatively flat. I milled all these pieces, make them nice and flat. And what I also did is I took this whole apron assembly off, put it in the mill, milled these pieces, milled these sides flat, front and rear, and then drilled the holes in them for bolts, because I got to checking, and this side was a little higher than the rear side, so I just took the lathe all apart and put it in the mill and milled these off flat. And this piece here is also the same. It's got a little relief hole here for the dowel pin, so it just fits on there like that there, just like that. And these will get bolted down, and then you put your T-nuts in with your studs and put your adjusters on to level your fixture plate. So the fixture plate is going to be the next part I'm going to do. Well, this is going to be it for this part of this project. I think I got the majority of the hard part done. The next hardest part is going to be machining the T-slots and so on in the fixture plate that's going to go on top. Then I've got 4 little adjusters that I have to make, but that'll be coming up next, and hope everybody's having a great day, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.